In 1982, when I was 17 years old, my father locked my mother in their bedroom, slammed her up against the walls until she was exhausted, and then pulled a gun and threatened to blow her head off. I was in my bedroom with my younger siblings, 15 and 4, a set of twins that were 4 years old, and my 16-year-old cousin who was visiting. My 15-year-old brother got dressed and ran to the precinct to get the police. The 4 of us remained in the bedroom, scared to death, listening to my mother scream and holler and plead for her life. My brother was probably gone about 30 minutes. It felt like hours. We just sat there shivering, holding each other, waiting for the sound of the gun to go off, and then the sound of my mother's body falling dead to the floor. My brother returned with 4 police officers. They kicked their bedroom door in. They apprehended my dad, and they took the gun from him, opened it up, and found that there were no bullets in the gun. They did not arrest him. We left that morning to go stay with my grandparents, and this was a common theme in their marriage. They would fight and make up, fight and make up. My mother would leave him and take us to my grandparents' home, and we'd stay for a few days or a few weeks, but she always went back to him. And this went on for the length of their marriage. My father died in 2005 after 40 years of marriage. And after he passed away, I finally asked my mother, why did you stay with him? And she said she stayed because she could not afford to take care of us children on her salary. She was a clerical worker at a finance firm. My father was the main breadwinner. The other thing was she did not want to have to move us children into the projects. She felt that was the only type of apartment she would be able to afford on her salary. So that's why she stayed. I would learn later, after I did my own research into abusive relationships, that often there's a chemical dependency, right? People become addicted to their abusers the way people become addicted to alcohol or cocaine. And each and every time people try to walk away from their abusers, or people try to put down alcohol or drugs, they go through withdrawal. It's painful. It's easier to pick the drug back up, to take another drink, to go back to that man or woman who tells you that they love you, and the whole time they're abusing you. So my mother made it out, thank God, not without her scars, her battle scars, most of which are emotional. So I just want to say, rest in peace, Dr. Serena Fairfax.
Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, my name is Miss Kafue. So ladies, hey, we all know that a woman lives 7 times before she can finally leave. And I'm sure most of us or some of us have been those women before. But the moment you decided enough is enough, no one even woke you up that day. No one helped you pack those bags. You were out of there and you were done until today. So ladies, let's talk about why women do this and the mindset behind it, the psychological reasons behind it. Like, we have a lot to learn in this video, and I beg of you, please stay till the end. It gets interesting. So without further ado, let's quickly jump right into this video, and then I'll be back to give my take on it.
I walked away from a 12-year relationship with 2 kids. We had been together since I was 16 years old. You know, I had 2 children as a teenager. And I can honestly say that as young adults raising 2 children, we did pretty okay. But about 6 years into the relationship, I began to feel stuck. While he was sticking to and accomplishing all of the goals that he had set for himself, I was feeling like my life was just becoming like a revolving door of mother and wife duties. And then the goals that I had for myself would come last. I would come up with all these plans on how we could, relocate to California as a family. And he would entertain it, but he never spoke life into it. And when it all hit the fan, I walked away from everything. And you know what was the hardest? The judgment and criticism that I received, especially from people I thought would be in my corner. After leaving that relationship, an overflow of blessings and opportunities started to come my way. It has been an extremely long journey of healing. I didn't know who I was outside of being a mom and a wife. I am that too, but I'm also more than just that. Now I am getting to know La Brittany.
Here is something I wish more people understood about women who walk away, women who choose themselves. No woman leaves unless the alternative feels better than staying. No woman chooses to uproot her life, split her family, and change everything she has built for fun. Women do not walk away from homes, marriages, shared histories, the father of their children on a whim. They leave when the cost of staying becomes heavier than the fear of leaving. By the time a woman leaves, you see, she has tried everything. She has forgiven, hoped, waited, adjusted herself, made excuses, held on longer than she should have. She didn't leave because she was reckless. She left because she was exhausted. She was done. Because there comes a moment when your nervous system can no longer live in constant tension. When the walking on eggshells becomes unbearable. When the woman you used to be starts to feel like a distant memory. Leaving is not easy for women. It is terrifying. It means stepping into uncertainty. It means not having all the answers. It means rebuilding parts of your life from the ground up. And the truth is, no woman takes that step unless staying has already become the harder choice. And if you're someone who has left something that was draining you, you will know exactly what I mean. And they do not need your pity. They are the ones who finally found the courage to stop surviving and start living again.
Most women wait 6 years after knowing it's over before they leave. 6 years. This is what's actually happening. You have been taught that your discomfort is not evidence, that you need a bigger reason, a dramatic moment, something that you can point to and say, that's why. But here is what those 6 years actually cost. 65% of women say financial stress is the #1 source of stress that keeps them in fear and keeps them in relationships they've already outgrown. Another study found that people actually stay not because they want to, but because they believe their partner needs them. They don't stay out of love. They are staying out of guilt, out of fear, and out of conditioning that taught you that your discomfort isn't a good enough reason to go. It is, and it always will be.
A woman will beg a guy she loves for months, cry to him, complain to him. The thing about girls is, it takes very long for them to leave and move on. But once they do, they never return.
It takes women at least 7 times to leave a DV relationship. These men come into your lives and they isolate you. They love bomb you and then they isolate you from family, from friends. If it was so easy to leave a DV relationship, why do you think it takes women so many times to leave? Let me help you out. Not only do these men come into your lives and sweep you off your feet by love bombing you, they isolate you. They isolate you from your friends and your family. They say things about your friends and family to try to make you think that these people really don't love you or don't care about you, and that they are your only source of security and love. All the while, the only thing that they're doing is making sure that you only have them. They will then chip away at your spirit, your soul, and your self-worth. Once they are confident that they have you exactly where they want you, that's when the abuse starts. First, it's verbal. They start calling you names. The continuous chipping away at your soul and your self-worth. They do it for so long that you begin to believe what they say about you. And you're too embarrassed to talk to anybody about it. You don't want to tell people this is what's happening to you because people probably warned you about this person and you didn't listen. And because you isolated yourself, you feel like you don't have a community anymore. You feel like you can't even talk to anybody anymore. And if you have children in this relationship, you're fighting just to be human. You're fighting to be a woman and you're fighting to be a mother. Your mental health starts to fray. You start to lose your mind. Your physical health is beginning to be affected by the stress. You're losing hair. You're not sleeping. You have gotten to a point to when you look in the mirror, you don't even recognize yourself. And now your children's health, your children's sanity, your children's mental health is suffering. So everybody is suffering in that household but him. You have no self-worth. You have no finances because they have made sure that you are lacking in every way possible because your mental health is suffering so much you can't work. You can't even be a mom. You can't even get up. So you feel stuck. So it's not because we just can't get up and go. It's because we can't physically get off the bed to even do so. Do not ever say to a woman, just leave. Because honey, if she could, she would. What you can do is offer her some help. And you know when somebody's suffering. And they might not take it the first couple times because they have gotten to a point where they think that he is the only salvation or that he is the only person to get them out of this situation. And honey, my only advice to you is to keep trying to help because there'll be that one time where they will say, okay, throw me the life jacket. And please don't forget that these men have scared these women into staying. They have threatened their lives and they have threatened the children's lives. Please have more empathy for women in DV relationships. And if you can help, do so. I love you.
It takes an average of 7 tries for a woman to leave an abusive relationship. So keep in mind that's an average. So sometimes it will take a woman less tries. Sometimes it will take her more than 7 times. And if she's actually reaching out for help and letting you know what's happening, that means she's getting ready to make her final move. And that's when things are the scariest and most dangerous. So if you have a friend that's reaching out to let you know that she wants to leave, be there to support her and help her make a safety plan that will get her out successfully. Sometimes people get frustrated with family members and friends who leave and go back, leave and go back, leave and go back. So I wanted to post this to let you know that 7 is the average attempts it will take for her to leave successfully. There's many reasons why this happens. A lot of it has to do with shame of failure, religious reasons, hope that the man's going to change. So be patient.
You said it takes the woman an average of 7 times to leave any type of abusive relationship.
Wow.
That's statistics. And so before we sit and we judge, you have to understand if what we're seeing in the natural is bondage, can you imagine what's happening spiritually? And so I had lack of support because people are like, oh, you could just walk away. Like it's not a big deal. 7 times on average, 7 times. God forbid if it does not end up in them no longer being on the earth.
Wow. I would really say right now to anyone who's watching, this is a spiritual battle. If it takes 7 times and you have a friend who's going through this spiritual behavior, whether it's a woman, a man, whatever it is, don't give up on them. Because as Tasha just said, it takes 7 times. I did not know that. Lord help me, because sometimes I look at people and I'm like, oh my God, that's so ridiculous. They're still there.
Yeah.
And I've probably only said something 2 or 3 times. So 7 times.
Yeah. And you're completely isolated because, again, during that idolization phase, remember that narcissistic abuse cycle we're talking about, they put you on a pedestal. You are by yourself. You are alone. They'll start planting seeds, talking about your friends and your family, how you may need to stay away from this person. And all of that is part of the plan of isolating you so that when you finally do wake up, there's nobody around to help you, literally, but God. Fortunately for me, I had maybe one or two friends. One of them, she had a good idea of what was going on, and she was constantly praying for me, and I'm so grateful.
The way I got out of abuse was crazy. Like, I was literally rescued out of my abusive marriage. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I just got done recording the audio version of my book, The Witch and the Lamb. And I read through that whole testimony, and I was just gripped with so much emotion and tears, but not sadness or grief, like gratitude that I am alive, that God is so good, that Jesus is alive too. And in case you thought he was dead, he's not. And I just wanted to share this testimony because it's so powerful how God got me out. And if you hear different survivors' testimonies, whether they've been trafficked or in abuse or really bad situations, and they have a relationship with Jesus, that when they pray, God gives them a strategy on how to get out. So it was years ago, and I had been in this abusive marriage for 5 years. It was a 7-year relationship total. And I had a break for about an hour, which didn't happen often. I was like never by myself. I was always with my son. And I went on a car ride for about an hour because I was just really emotional, really upset with, it was like a 3-day blowout, me walking on eggshells. I was exhausted. I had been in this cycle for so many years and I was tired of it. And I got in my car and I went on a drive. And when I was on that drive, I screamed at the top of my lungs to God, not out of anger, but out of desperation. And I said, God, I have been pursuing you. I have been obedient to everything you've said. I have been walking in righteousness. Help me, help me, help me. We've all had those kind of prayers, right? If we've prayed. And I called out to God. I said, send your angels to help me. Either you perform a miracle in my marriage or you get me out now. Now, we had seen 8 therapists and things were not changing. In fact, they were staying the same and getting worse, And so I prayed that prayer. I said, either you perform a miracle in my marriage or you get me out now. I went back home. 3 hours later, the police were called and we were rescued by Keller Police Department when I lived in Texas. It wasn't easy. It was very traumatizing. It was very hard. I've been through so many hard things in my life, and if you've followed me, you know a lot of my story. If you've never followed me, go check out a couple videos and you might gather some information. But I've been through a lot, and I would say that was about the hardest time in my life, was getting out of a 7-year abusive marriage with my baby. And God rescued us. I lost everything as a result, but I gained my safety and my peace in God. So if you're going through it, keep going. God loves you.
I left multiple times. I think that I left him because that's another thing with these men that manipulate you and tell all these crazy toxic relationships, especially with younger to older, they're never going to break up with you. You have to leave. It literally was me leaving every single time because then he has that on me of well, I always loved you. You're the one who always leaves me.
A victim of abuse would attempt to leave that relationship at least 7 times before they finally get that courage to leave. And what usually happens is that some people never get the courage to leave and they die before the 7 times is reached. And some people get to the 7 times and they are able to leave. So,
but then you won! You won this day! Bye!
I don't think so, Zoe. If I was Muslim, I would beat the fuck out of you already, right?
No. Call police now.
Call police now. Call them now. Call them now. Seriously.
You know what's so funny? You guys are on the internet attacking Cassie, basically saying if she was really being abused, if she was really in a bad situation, she would have left. And the fact that she stayed means that Diddy's innocent. It's not his fault. She decided to put herself in that scenario despite the fact that she was literally 19 years old when she met that man. And he was one of the most powerful men in the music industry. That woman was literally groomed. And you guys are saying it's her fault. Okay, cool. But on the flip side, Halle Bailey is trying to leave DDG and get a restraining order so that man no longer has access to her because she has been abused for so long. Completely flip side of the situation. So one stayed, one is trying to leave. And you people have a problem with both. Cassie's wrong because she was in love and quite literally groomed, drugged to the point of addiction and sex traffic. Because she stayed, because quite literally, what was she going to do? Where was she going to go? She's wrong. But Halle leaving DDG is also wrong because that's her baby daddy. Why can't she fix it? Like, why would she do that to her baby daddy? You people just hate women. Like, when are we just gonna accept the fact that men don't like women? They don't like looking at women, enjoy using women for sex. You guys despise women. You hate women. I think the sooner that we all just accept that, we can stop pretending, because if you like men, just say so. But like, this underlying hatred for women you guys have is crazy. It is. Wow.
The average person in an abusive relationship, it takes them 7 times, and it took me 7 times. I left 7 times and came back until I finally left.
Why were you coming back?
I didn't have anyone out here. I didn't have family, and then financially he controlled me. I had nowhere to go. It was easier to just go back than to like try to go back to like Wisconsin with my family.
It says, when she made it through my 7 malicious attempts to push her away and sabotage the relationship, so you know it's real. I'm not saying that the person who posted this is a narcissist. It could be very well just be a joke, y'all. But this right here is what a lot of narcissistic people will do to test your love, to see if you're a ride or die. They'll do things on purpose to test you. They'll intentionally pick fights and ghost you and cheat on you and lie to you and hide things from you, just to test, to see how strong you are, to see if you're a ride or die, to see if you're going to be there through thick and thin. We've been through hell and back, and I promise you, hell is hot, but we made it back. Thank you for riding with me and dying with me. And you died a couple of times, and I lived the whole way. Narcissistic people will put you through things that they themselves wouldn't stay through. The double standards absolutely exist in these toxic relationship dynamics, y'all. And this right here can continue on for a long time until the person decides to leave that narcissistic person alone, or the narcissist gets tired of dealing with the person, gets bored of going back and forth with the person, so they go find somebody else to start fresh with, to start clean with. Hey, but you a ride or die. Sometimes you ride, sometimes you die. Emotional death, not physical, all the time. Sometimes though.
I just saw a video from a woman. Her handle is @thickjewishgirl, but she was talking about how she ended a relationship in 48 hours. She was on her way with her new man of only 48 hours to a Washington Commanders game. And while they're on the way to the game, he tells her, just so you know, this is your Christmas present. He knows that she has no interest in football. She was just going to the game for his sake. And even though there were good seats and she had a great time, it kind of seemed like an afterthought. He knew good and well this was something that was for him, but he just threw her in there as a cheap way to also get a Christmas gift out of it. And she didn't like how that made her feel. This could also be subtle foreshadowing. This is how you end up with an egg apron when what you really wanted was a round-trip ticket to Greece. Every Christmas we see videos from women who are going to say after 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, their stocking is empty or their husband didn't get them a gift. And the thing about it is, when you see these things up front, you have to cut it. If your boyfriend is stingy and leaves your stocking empty, your husband will be the same. The only time he'll give you what you've been wanting is when he thinks he's losing you or he's lost you. Then all of a sudden he'll do exactly what you've been begging him to do, but it's fake and it won't last. And after 48 hours, she saw this glimpse into the future and was like, I don't want to be 20 years down the line begging this man to do something for me that's not for him, just taking any old thing as my Christmas gift. If you don't like what you see after 48 hours, 4 to 8 weeks, or 4 to 8 years, it's not gonna get better. So cut your losses as early as possible.
Why it takes women so much longer to leave a relationship? Hi, by the way, if you're new here, my name is Paige. I'm a relationship and life coach here on TikTok. Please do follow me if you want to stick around. So, psychologically, why does it take women longer to leave a relationship? So, I'm sure a lot of you would have heard, it's a bit of a saying where a breakup will happen, the man kind of cracks on, doesn't really seem bothered, woman's heartbroken, and then as time goes on, the tables turn, the man comes running back, the woman's over it at that point. Why does that happen? Psychologically, as women, we take so much longer to emotionally detach from a person or a situation. It's just how we're wired. So if you can imagine your relationship as a battery, 100% full battery, fully charged. Each time that person that you're with hurts you, lies to you, makes you feel not wanted, makes you feel unloved, makes you feel sometimes even a little bit broken inside, some percent comes off of that battery. 5% each time comes off of the battery. So actually, women emotionally detach whilst we're in the relationship. And although we take breakups really hard once it's final, it's just because often once the breakups happen, we miss the person, and that's actually where the emotion comes from. We miss having that presence. But once we've got over that, we're not going back. As women, when we are done, we are done. So in truth, that is the reason why women take longer, because we very slowly emotionally detach bit by bit by bit. But believe me, once a woman is done, she is done.
She just didn't wake up one morning and decide to leave. Women don't just wake up one day and decide to leave a good man. Hello, it's Amanda here, your unoriginal influencer making content in my car this time. So unoriginal, right? They leave because they're not being heard. They leave disrespect dressed up as, I was just tired. They leave inconsistency that keeps them guessing and promises that never turn into action. And let me clear something up real quick. A woman does not fall out of love because of another man. Did you hear that? She falls out of love because she kept asking to be understood, but she kept getting ignored. She stayed, she explained, she softened her tone, and she gave chances she shouldn't have had to give. She waited for effort that was always, coming soon. And while she was still physically there, emotionally, she was already grieving what the relationship could have been. So when she finally walks away, it doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes after mental exhaustion, after disappointment, and after realizing she's been carrying the emotional weight alone. By the time she leaves, she didn't quit. She just finished trying. If this hit a nerve, don't scroll. Maybe you need to sit with it and follow Golden Way for more real talk about love, boundaries, and healing, because around here, friends, we are healing out loud.
Something that men frequently don't understand when it comes to women leaving their marriage is why it took her so long. Because as I've talked about on here before and other content creators, it is a slow ride towards the end, wherein a woman starts to dislike her husband more and more until it turns into hate, until it turns into a point where she just can't even stand to live in the same home with him, and eventually she files and she leaves. And I just heard a quote on here: the most dangerous man is the one that doesn't love you but doesn't want to let you go. That's why it takes women so long to leave their marriage. Because while things are unraveling and we are starving for connection, we're trying to make it work, and it is so apparent that he just doesn't love us, just doesn't like us, but then he'll do the bare minimum to make it seem like he's actually putting forth an effort, and he does it for a couple weeks and then things go right back to square one. And it's so hard to believe that's actually happening. So that's why it takes us so long to actually walk out that door. It's not because we're using men or because of any type of nefarious intention. It's because we genuinely do try our very best effort. It's just that we are with a husband that doesn't want to let us go, but also doesn't want to love us.
There are painful truths your wife won't say out loud until she's close to leaving. And the first is that she stopped feeling emotionally safe long before she stopped loving you. Women don't fall out of love first. That's almost never the case. They fall out of safety. She's likely been carrying the emotional weight of the relationship alone, and each time you brushed something off, she learned to stop coming to you. Eventually, she felt alone next to you, and loneliness inside of marriage, that's hard. That hits harder than loneliness when you're actually alone. She's tired of explaining the same needs because every time she speaks from her heart, you hear it as criticism. And the hardest truth is that she didn't want a different man. She wanted you to become the man you told her that you would be. Most men wake up only when their wife stops fighting, but silence isn't peace. Silence is the funeral of connection. If you want to save the marriage, stop listening for her words and start noticing when she becomes absent.
If the thought, why don't they just leave, has ever come across your mind, I want you to watch this video because there's so many reasons why women don't leave. First of all, sometimes these women are financially abused, so they don't even have the financial means to leave because their abuser controls their finances, so they don't have the resources, they don't even have access to a car to leave. Did you know it's 6 times more dangerous for a woman after she leaves an abusive relationship? The peak danger is when a woman leaves an abusive relationship. It's a very dangerous time for women because abusers are dangerous. They could kill you. There often is pushback when a woman leaves. Many cultures discourage women from leaving, and it's really looked down upon, especially my culture. If a woman divorces or gets away, they don't even have support from their family. They have no one to go to because even family members don't even support women leaving a toxic marriage. They just don't support it, and that's a big factor why they stay. Women are often conditioned to believe that this is the best they're going to get, that they deserve the abuse, and this is especially common in women who have grown up in abusive childhoods. Abuse is all they've ever known, and they think that it's normal, they think that that's what they're worthy of, and it's because of them. Think about it. Imagine a child having to face abuse and being told every day that that's what they deserve, and then they grow up and they've developed that belief that that's what they deserve, so they genuinely internalize that, and abusers often blame the victim for the abuse that they're doing. So essentially they're conditioned to thinking that this is what they deserve and this is the treatment that they're going to get from everyone, so they might as well stay. They have no reason to leave. They don't have a chance to leave because the abuser is controlling their whereabouts, controlling where they are, who they see. They're constantly monitored and surveilled, so how are they supposed to leave when their every move is being watched? Abusers monitor their victims, and it's scary, and they don't really have any space away that's not monitored, any movements that's not monitored. They can't live their life without being monitored, so how are they ever supposed to leave? The emotional abuse sometimes is so severe to the point where victims have such a low self-confidence that they genuinely believe that they don't have the courage to leave, that they will never be able to make it on their own, that they need the abuser to survive, that no one will want to help them. They genuinely have such a low self-worth sometimes. That low self-worth is what keeps them stuck because they genuinely believe that they won't be able to leave, and this is not their fault. The abuser is ingraining in their head that they're worthless, that they're dumb, that they can't do anything, that they can't get out themselves. And at this point they might even have a lack of trust in people to actually support them. We're lucky in the UK, there's a lot of organisations, a lot of support around this, but even women might even feel reluctant to reach out for help because they genuinely believe that they're not worthy of that help. Cost of living crisis, where they're supposed to go, how they're supposed to feed their children if they leave. Some women don't even have jobs, they're housewives, they don't know how they're going to get a house, they don't know how they're going to be able to feed their children. Everything's expensive, like everyone's struggling. Imagine leaving and starting a new life somewhere else. They might not even be able to have the emotional energy or even the financial ability to do that. There's so many reasons why women don't leave. It's just a lack of education, and I feel like it's a lack of empathy or consideration to even state that sentence, to even ask, why don't you just leave? Because there's so much behind the reason why, there's so much that goes into it. That's why education is so important, because if you actually sit down and educate yourself about how difficult it is for some people and how some people have to live, how a lot of women have to live, then you'll realize that it's not as simple as you think it is. And we are privileged to be in our positions right now. There's so much struggle that we don't know about, and there's so many more reasons that I just don't have time to get into all of them.
And I used to tell my ex all the time, the switch is gonna flip and I'm gonna be done. You keep thinking that because you get these chances and because I explain myself to you, that you get a million chances forever. You don't. It's just, as a woman, at some point, it just clicks and you stop
You're
explaining
like,
yourself.
"Women."
It just breaks down a little bit each time, and maybe you just have this reservoir of tolerance that all of a sudden one day you use the last drop of it and they're like, what? Why aren't you bothering with me anymore? And it's like, I fucking told you. At some point it will be done. And I think as you learn, as you see the behaviors with other people, you become like, you see the patterns so clearly.
When a woman is fed up with a man, she leaves mentally and emotionally before she leaves physically. She's going to have a plan, another job, another place to live, might have another man, by the time it's all said and done. But she leaves mentally and emotionally first. Her body's the last to go. When a man is fed up, he leaves physically first. His emotions are the last to leave.
Why do you think that is?
You know what? I'll ask God when I get to heaven. I don't know why he made us like this. It seems like y'all got the better end of the rationale. He just put it in y'all's DNA, in y'all's body type better than he put it in ours. We kind of rashly go, and then we'll be mad if you're dating somebody else. But it's like, you left. Why are you mad? Can't believe you're dating somebody else. Yeah, I know I left, but I mean, I was going to come back. I could have fooled me.
What no one really talks about is what happens when a woman keeps carrying everything while she's still in a relationship. I did it for 11 years with the kid's dad. All of the bills, all of the decisions, the emotional labour, holding the house together, myself and everyone else together. And I didn't just leave him because I stopped loving him. I left him because my brain stopped seeing him as a support. He became someone I had to manage, not lean on. And once that switch flips 11 years later, it's quiet. There's no argument. There's no dramatic ending. The attraction just fades. And then I told myself maybe it was just that relationship, so I tried again. Another 4 years with someone else. And slowly the same pattern. Me fixing everything, me providing, me carrying and adjusting and being strong. Till one day I just realised I don't want to be the strong one in the room anymore. Because when a woman has to solve everything alone for too long, it's like a nervous system stops feeling safe with that person. And once the safety goes, the desire follows. It's not bitterness. It's not biology. It's like self-protection. So if you're watching this, think, I feel single. Even when you're not, trust that feeling. It's not that you're asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person.
Vast majority of women don't leave when they're done. They leave when they found someone else, or they believe intrinsically they can do much better than you.
I cannot tell you how unbelievably untrue what this guy is saying is. He doesn't have his stitches on, so I can't stitch it, but he's essentially saying that women only leave a relationship if they already have somebody else or think they can do better. And that's implying that they've gone out, found another man, and are prepared to be with that man now. He's replying to a video of a man who was essentially saying, a woman's gonna leave you when she's done. There's nothing else you can do. There's nothing that's gonna save the relationship. She has mourned the relationship. She has gone through everything that she's gonna go through with you, and there's nothing left for her to give, and that's when she's gonna leave. And his argument is that's not true. She's only gonna leave when she's found another man. First of all, I would like to just point out that the dating pool ain't that great. If you guys think that there's some sort of mythical understanding amongst women that it's just the guy we're with, but that there's so many amazing unicorn men out there and we're just waiting to find the next one, you are wrong. Women are pretty much all of the understanding that men are crap all around, and it's rare to find one that's actually interesting, smart, intelligent, and also emotionally intelligent, and also somebody that you're attracted to and want to build a life with. That's pretty rare. So most women are not leaving relationships expecting to immediately fall into the arms of some perfect mythical unicorn man. The thing that's interesting about this is that this man is deflecting responsibility of the ending of relationships onto the woman. So basically saying, oh, you're leaving because you found someone else that you think is better, or you think you can do better than me. Instead of just saying, yeah, actually, like, maybe I'm not a great partner. Actually, maybe there's things that I could have been doing better. Most women that leave very unhappy marriages where they did the brunt of the work, where they took on the majority of the emotional load, where they didn't get what they needed from their partner and they gave and gave and gave and gave, usually end up leaving that relationship and willfully choose to remain single because they don't want to deal with that again. They are happier being alone than having to live with a man. Most women who are leaving a domestic partnership that they willfully left in that situation are looking for freedom. They're looking to have their own life. They're looking to find their own power, their own value, not another man. Just take responsibility for your faults and improve, men of TikTok, please.
People make it seem like it's easy to walk away from a relationship, but after 31 years of being together and 21 years married, how do I walk away from somebody that has been with me over half of my life?
Yeah, can you give context on why you want to? Why do you want to walk away?
Because he keeps seeking validation elsewhere. I'm not oblivious to the fact, but I'm not stupid either. 31 years of my life, that insurance policy is mine.
I always think about what God asks us to do. Lot and his family, he gave them the directive to run away and don't look back, right? And I think about how hard it must have been to leave a place you grew up. You raised your children in. Think about it. In Lot's home, he probably had measurements of his kids at age 6, age 12, 15. I got married in that vineyard. Birthed my son here, and you have all these memories. And God didn't ask him to do anything super special. He just said, put one foot in front of the other and don't look back. Sometimes when we are making our decisions to leave places that God says no longer serve you, the only thing you got to do is focus on putting this foot in front of the other. And when you do that, you put this foot in front of that one. And then most importantly, you don't look back.
As a woman that stayed, I can't convince you to leave because no one could convince me back in the day. You'll one day just snap out of it and grow tired of trying with him. You'll leave on your own when you've had enough. You'll go back a few times because your hope for you two hasn't died yet. But after some time, you'll leave for good. Everyone's threshold is different. I wasn't ashamed of staying either because I needed to see that relationship through. I needed those lessons that came from staying too long and tolerating too much. So who am I to tell another woman to leave if she isn't ready and hasn't learned the lessons meant for her yet? As a woman that stayed, what I will say is that his patterns won't change. And if he does decide to change for you, it won't last because he did it for you and not himself, meaning that's not who he truly is at the core. By the time he does decide to change, you're not going to even want him anymore because the damage is already done. I will also say that life can be so much better without him. That sadness you feel after it ends finally won't last forever. But continuing to stay, that sadness is everlasting and a roller coaster ride. You don't need him like you think you do, and there's better out there, a better life, a better and happier you, and eventually a better man too. That is a post written by me that is on my Instagram page. I've been that girl too. You can follow me there, and I'll also be publishing my writings in another book soon. But I wrote that because I seen that trend of posts going around of saying, as a woman that stayed, I'm telling you to leave right now. And I get that. That's nothing against that. But in my full understanding of what I went through, no one could tell me to leave. I had to get to that on my own. And it took time. And I don't regret any of it because of the lessons after it. And I said all that to say that if you're stuck in that and you're going back and forth and you're trying your hardest to leave, understand that after all of that, I need you to take time to take heed to all the lessons from it and to grow from that so you don't do that shit again.
So ladies, if there's a story that shocked me from this video, is the video about the lady explaining how as kids their father was very abusive to their mom and almost deleted the mom. Let me tell you, as women, especially if you have children, the moment you accept to be abused by a man, you're also abusing your own children. You're not choosing better. Your children will always remember that. Let me tell you, especially the girls will grow up being conditioned that, this is normal. This is what a man should do to me. And the boys will grow up thinking, this is what men should do. This is what I should do to my wife or to my girlfriend, So it's abusive. Like, let me tell you, especially as a woman, when you undergo the same abuse as an adult, you get to this point whereby you're like, oh my God, I really went through what my mom went through. And most of the time we always think that, that could never be me. Oh my God, I'll do better. But one day you come and realize you're really the same woman. Like it's deep rooted. It's deep rooted. The trauma is deep. You don't even tend to realize it until it happens. So let me tell you, women, we live a lot of times before we finally leave. But once we left, you even get to this point whereby you ask yourself, what was I doing with that shit? What was I doing with that guy? Like, he's not even on my level. He's not on my type. And you know what's crazy is that he was never your type. He was never on your level and everyone could see it except you. That's the craziest part about all this, by the way. But once you decided to leave, you left and never came back. And you know what's very crazy about this society is that this society will gaslight you to think that you need a very major reason to leave that man. No, you don't. And the reasons as to why you want to leave that man are already major. And in this society, they'll always ask you, for example, even here in Africa, they'll always ask you, so you are bathing every day, so you are eating every day, so you have a roof over your head every day. What else are you complaining about? Just stay there. Even if he's cheating, just stay there. That's what they'll condition you to believe. But let me tell you, that man will bring you diseases. That man will beat you up. You were eating. You had a roof over your head before you married this man. So what is special about this? And another thing is that this man would be paying rent. He will be providing food, even if he was not married to you. So it's nothing special, really. Basic needs is not provision. Okay, it is, but it's not like something major that you should keep telling someone, oh, I've been providing for you. Oh, I've given you food. Like you would have been buying food even if I was not here. So as women, it's interesting to see how we live a lot of times before we finally leave. Like you'll disconnect emotionally first. You'll just start to hate that man and you live in the same house. You'll start to enjoy your alone time away from that man, even in that relationship. Like the moment he walks out of the door, you're really happy. The moment he comes home, there's this rush of anxiety that comes in. Like you even wish he doesn't come back. Let me tell you, in my past relationship, I got to this point whereby I was wishing he never came back. Like, it's crazy to say, but because when he's around, it's just stress, it's just a lot of nothingness, it's just, I don't know, but when your source of stress is around you, there's nothing good about their presence, So let me tell you, whenever you hit those points, and then one day you decide that enough is enough, and let me tell you, you cannot convince a woman that enough is enough before she convinces herself. Herself, she'll know when enough is enough. The moment she hits rock bottom completely, she will be gone. No one will need to tell her. No one will need to come pick you up as a woman. You'll just pack and you'll be gone and you'll never come back. The moment you have enough, the moment the disrespect gets to a point whereby enough is enough, no one will tell you anything. You'll be gone. And as women, I want you to stop convincing yourself that certain things that these men do are not big enough reasons to leave them. For example, cheating. That man will give you HIV. He'll give you incurable STIs when you're still there, thinking that, oh, let me just stay, it's not such a big reason. And that's why as a woman, you have to have your own money and enough of it. Because that man needs to know that you can leave tomorrow, early in the morning, if need be. He needs to know that. Because let me tell you, these men will weaponize their provision for you. They'll weaponize it. You see that car food he's giving you that's not even enough. You see that car house that you are living in that's not even... It's not even your class, to be honest. Like, it's not even something you will be proud of. You're just there by his provision. You're just there at his mercy. This man will never give you money for your own needs, pads, lotion. As a woman, you need to pamper yourself sometimes, nails, until you ask for it or you beg for it. Like, he can never put money into your account or to your, a lot of these men are very abusive by with their provision. Men are not natural providers. And the moment you learn that, you learn to look for your own money. You learn to, even if you're a wife, you learn to like continue working on your goals, on your career, because let me tell you, it can be a rainy day at any moment. So I need you to leave. If you've wanted to leave, leave. A lot of times as women, what keeps us stuck is finances. Because you start thinking, oh my God, where will I take these children? And another thing is that as a woman, don't have kids that you cannot maintain on your own. Don't have kids that you cannot provide for on your own. Like the moment you try to get pregnant, you should always convince yourself like, yes, if this man walked out today, I could still take care of this child. I am ready to be a single mother. I don't care whether you had a wedding last month, you have a ring on your finger. I don't care. You have to pass through that thought. Because if you're not okay with that, then you have no business becoming a mother in this society. We have even married single moms in this era. So you need to be very okay with that, because let me tell you, most of these men will keep you stuck. Those children will keep you stuck. And some of us women, or some of you women, will have multiples. You have triplets at once. You have quadruplets. You have twins at once. Like, you have to be very ready financially for kids. Kids are not a shared responsibility. Like, the woman does 90% of the work, sometimes even 100, even if you're in a marriage. Because that is what will keep you stuck. A lot of our mothers, especially in the African society or before women were working and all that, they stayed because they were wondering where they would take these kids, what kind of life their kids will live. They stayed for the kids. That's another thing you should never do. Don't stay for the kids. Everything will be okay. Let me tell you, even if today you walked out and slept on the street, you won't sleep on the street every day for the rest of your life. Things will get better. People have survived before you. Let me tell you. So don't be afraid to leave. That is the message of this video. And something else that I liked from this video is the woman who says that if you leave, your sadness will be temporary, like it will be over in a little while. But if you stayed, your sadness will be forever. So I need you to start living, ladies. Anyway, if you listen to these points, please leave a red heart emoji in the comment section down below, and I'll know how many people actually listen to these voiceovers, and I'll really appreciate. So please have a nice day, a nice evening, a nice night, whatever time this video is finding you, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.